If you need any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check the referral links down in the description. They'll take you to g2a.com. They already have a discount on most of their goods already, and with the code CHES at checkout, you can get yourself an extra 3% off as well.
Hey guys, how's it going? Chez back again and welcome to episode number 51 of the Liverpool career mode here on FIFA 15. We are in the thick of the transfer window today, but we start with some game action. It's of course, as you saw, a game away from home against Millwall in the FA Cup. Now I think actually this season we've already played them once in the Capital One Cup. We were victorious in that particular encounter. It may have been last season though actually, but I definitely know we have played Millwall before with Liverpool, but I can't quite remember which season it was. But we're playing away from home again. We played them away from home last time as well, and I'm playing a rotation side because of course we played the last game not too long ago in yesterday's episode, yesterday's episode in on Monday's episode. But as you can see, Heung-min Son up top with Divock Origi out wide, and Stevie G sat there in the camera. We are of course looking for a new cam in today's episode, and we took some of your suggestions on board in yesterday's video. Jordan Henderson draws a good save out of David Ford in the opening few minutes or so. We aren't quite able to get ourselves in front. This was a game that actually was very hard to play. The conditions didn't lend themselves towards decent fast-flowing football, and Millwall defended very, very well indeed. Very committed in their challenges, etc. Nicky Bailey came close to giving them the lead there, not quite on target, and that was everything that happened in the first half until they threw the ball straight to me here from that throw-in in stoppage time at the end of the first period. Heung-min Son with a lovely Maradona turn to get himself into the box, and then five-star weak foot. You can't let Heung-min Son have that much time and space on either foot because he will just bury the ball in the back of the net every single time. He's just too good. Lovely Maradona turn, opens up the space and rifles it into that bottom corner. You would have thought on his right foot, despite it being 5-star, it wouldn't quite have been arrowed in that well, but Heung-min Son is just that good a player. And then Jordan Henderson, 5 minutes after half-time, makes it 2. Another chance that comes from a throw-in, only this time it's actually a throw-in that's thrown to a teammate rather than the opposition throwing it to me. But regardless, we're now pushing further on into the first half. Gavin Hoyt into Upson, into Scott McDonald, does really well to work the opportunity and the space for the opportunity, but can't quite find his finish, and that kind of summed up Millwall's performance, to be completely honest. Almost there, but not quite, and we're able to get a 2-0 victory and progress through in the FA Cup, which is fantastic, and I'm delighted to have done so. As you can see, though, we've unfortunately had our transfer offers denied by Real Madrid for Isco and by Bayer Leverkusen for Hakan Çalhanoğlu. So we're going to offer £25 million plus Origi now for Isco, and I think I offer £13 million plus Origi for Hakan Çalhanoğlu. As you can see, though, Swansea have rejected the £8 million that I asked as a counter-offer for Origi. So I am going to counter-offer again, I think, for that, just to make sure, just in case, one of these two sides, whether that be Real or Bayer Leverkusen, don't necessarily follow up with the Origi transfer. If I, run out of money whilst trying to arrange the deal, then I might need to actually sell Origi on to someone else to raise the extra funds to be able to get the player in for money outright. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Unfortunately, Arda Turan is not going to be coming into the club, despite the fact that I'm counter-offering £25 million here. Atleti are just being too stubborn with that, and I am actually going to try and get Christian Eriksen in for 25. We'll have to wait and see what Spurs say, but unfortunately Arda Turan is a definite no-go, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But another cup game actually is the second one today, and it's actually the first leg of the Capital One Cup semi-finals. We're away from home the first time around at Carrow Road, although it's Ivy Lane on FIFA 15. As you can see, Stoke City win their first leg 3-1 against Cardiff, so we're not sure who's going to be in the final. That could go either way. It depends what was, who was at home and who was away, because of course the Capital One Cup is a strange one. Away goals don't count until after extra time at the end of the second tie. So it's very, very peculiar, but it would probably be too hard to explain unless we found ourselves in the actual situation. So I won't go into too much detail with that, but that is the situation. Away goals only count after extra time at the end of the second tie. So if we could get any away goals here, it wouldn't necessarily be to our advantage immediately, but in the long term, it might be to our advantage at the end of the game back at Anfield. So it's confusing, but we'll just try and do the business on the pitch, and if we can win outright, it doesn't matter anyway, does it? So we'll try and get ourselves in front if we can. Norwich had the first chance, and it was a rather poor effort, to be completely honest. Then Coutinho is going to go on a really nice run here, thread the ball through to Eduardo Vargas, and if he'd have been able to take that a little bit earlier, that would have been a spectacular goal flicking it over his head and then an overhead kick. Unfortunately, though, it kind of got away from him. The touch over his head wasn't quite as accurate as perhaps it could have been, and sadly, it got away from him. He wasn't able to quite get the power on it he wanted. But a lovely scoop turn, followed by a brilliant turn and a top finish on the end of it, and that's 1-0 to Liverpool after 37 minutes. Off to celebrate in front of the travelling fans, and that was an incredible goal, actually. We saw the great footwork from him for the chance he missed a minute ago, but the turn there to go on top of the scoop turn, and then that finish to really open up the face of his body and just plant it in that far bottom corner, almost sliding away from Ruddy as he dives towards it. Incredible goal from from Eduardo Vargas. Been really impressed with him so far this season, and hopefully he can continue to score goals for us in this competition, in the FA Cup and in Europe, as well as the Barclays Premier League. But it was actually Cameron Jerome that scored the next goal, a really well worked goal, to be completely honest. Squared across, and eventually Cameron Jerome's there at the back post to head it in. So into the second half we go, and Cameron Jerome was involved again down the right hand side, using his pace. I was trying to stop him from getting the ball into the box, but eventually he did. Everybody missed it, and Kyle Lafferty's there with a top volley to put it into the top corner. I was a bit stunned by that, to be completely honest. I wasn't sure why everybody missed it as it came into the box, and I just kind of sat there staring at the screen like, has that just happened? Have they just scored 2 goals either side of half-time to come back from 1-0 down to 2-1 up after not really threatening at all? But we're going to try and get ourselves back on level terms if we can. Gundogan drawing a good save out of John Ruddy. Didn't seem like it was that good a save at the time, but then I saw a replay a little bit later on, and you can see it took a deflection off the defender's legs, and that is headed towards the top corner. It's a top save from John Ruddy, and we stay at 2-1. But the pressure continued to mount coming from us towards the Norwich goal. Eduardo Vargas again showing his fantastic dribbling footwork. And I thought here, as the referee runs into the box, that we'd gotten a penalty. You saw Eduardo Vargas get caught not once but twice and stumbling in the box. No card from the referee against Martin Olsson, who of course is a rather fast Swedish wing-back. But as you can see, the challenge is right there on the edge of the box. And as far as I'm concerned, that's on the line. And we saw a penalty given for us in a previous episode, I think it may even have been yesterday's episode, for a challenge that was on the line. This time though, the free kick is on the line, but it's a free kick, not a penalty, which is baffling to me, because surely by the letter of the law that should be a penalty. But regardless, we had the shot blocked from that free kick. Coutinho though picks up the loose ball. He's going to try a nice little Ronaldo top to get inside the defender there. Good shot, but it's straight at John Ruddy, and we can't scramble it in with Eduardo Vargas afterwards on the rebound. So we have to come back again a few minutes later and try for us a 15 bajillionth time to try and get ourselves back on level terms in this game. And Douglas Costa comes up with a header there, again was straight at John Ruddy. He was really frustrating me in this one. Ruddy, unfortunately, he was just coming out with top saves, and my finishing wasn't necessarily to the best of my ability. That time we did beat John Ruddy, but we beat the post as well. Douglas Costa not quite accurate there, and that shot went past the far side of the goal, and we lost 2-1. So not the best of ways to start your semi-final against Norwich City in the Capital One Cup, but we were able to at least get an away goal, which may come in handy in the second tie if we can get a decent result back at Anfield. But you can see how dominant we were. They had 2 shots all game, that was it, and they scored both of them, and unfortunately we lost the game 2-1. So we'll just try and pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and come back in the second leg. But we're back into the transfer window, and we're getting offers actually for Stefan Ruffier, something I didn't expect, but it just proves how good he's been playing for us and how much better he has been than Rene Adler that we had at the club last year. So Stefan Ruffier having a couple of offers rejected for him. We've had contract offers accepted by Real Madrid, or transfer offers rather, accepted by Real Madrid and by Leverkusen for Isco and Hakan Çalhanoğlu. So we're going to offer contracts to both, and I was recording this a couple of days ago, and if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I actually tweeted out and asked you guys over on Twitter what you would like to see me do, whether you'd prefer that I brought in Hakan Çalhanoğlu or whether you preferred that I brought in Isco. And if I remember, I'll put the little Gazzo pictures up on screen of the results of that particular vote. Still trying my best to get Arda Turan into the club. They rejected 25 million. I'm offering them literally every single last penny I have apart from the final £2. Although, to be fair, I wouldn't be able to afford his wages if they accepted that anyway. I am going to offer the same amount of money for Christian Eriksen, but again, they're going to reject that offer, unfortunately. Kind of a little bit of a spoiler for the next episode, but Hakan Çalhanoğlu and Isco are hopefully going to accept those contract offers, and we'll find out in the next episode which one I sign. Although if I have shown you the pictures, then you probably already know which one I'm going to sign, because you guys have voted for it. So if you don't follow me on Twitter already, definitely do, because you can have a real-time impact on what happens in my career mode series. So there will be a link in the description to follow me on Twitter if you wish to do so. But as you can see, we are top of the table with a game in hand and 5 points clear, so it's been going very well for us so far in the BPL. Of course, no BPL games today because we've had 2 cup games, but still, hopefully we can improve our form and pick up our momentum again after that defeat against Norwich. And to be fair, our momentum wasn't really knocked. It was only the result that was not necessarily satisfactory, because the performance was very good indeed. We were just a little bit unlucky in front of goal. So hopefully tomorrow we can pick up the results again and we'll be able to get ourselves back in good form, good goal scoring form and winning form as well. But that'll bring today's episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are very close now to 50,000 subs. It would be great if we could hit that by the end of the week, and I will see you next time.